Can Zhen Huan, blessed with both beauty and talent, truly outshine all in the imperial harem and enjoy everlasting favor? The New Year's Eve arrived swiftly. Mei Zhuang, Ling Rong, and Chun Chong were invited to attend the inner court family banquet hosted by the emperor and the empress, as per tradition, so naturally they couldn't visit me. Being ill, the empress graciously allowed me to stay in the palace to recuperate and excused me from attending the banquet. After having the New Year's Eve dinner alone, I stayed up late with my attendants. Pinner came in with hot water, smiling. "My lady, the snow outside has stopped, and the sky is full of stars. It looks like it will be clear tomorrow. Is that so?" I replied with a delighted smile. "That sounds like a beautiful scene we must appreciate." "Jean," she said excitedly, "it's the perfect time for my lady to hang the likeness on the branches in the courtyard for blessings." I suggested. "Why hang it on the bare branches in the courtyard? Let's see if any plum blossoms have bloomed and hang it there." Xiao Yunzi replied. "The plum blossoms in the southwest corner of Shanglin Garden are quite beautiful, and they're close to our palace." "Are they white plums?" I inquired. Xiao Yunzi replied. "They are winter plums, very fragrant." I frowned slightly. I don't like the color of winter plums, and their scent is too strong, almost like alcohol. "Is there anything else?" Xiao Yunzi described. "In the southeast corner of Shanglin Garden, there's the Imei Garden with jade rué and Tanqin plums. They bloom red, like clouds, and are stunningly beautiful. It's just a bit far. The snowy night and the bright moon, reflecting on the clusters of white plums with their subtle fragrance, would create a spectacular scene." Longing filled my heart, and I stood up, draped in a silver-white brocade cloak with jade patterns, and said as I walked, "Then I shall go there to see." Xiao Yunzi, panicked, immediately knelt down and slapped himself twice, pleading, "It's all my fault for speaking out of turn. My lady is still recovering and should not be exposed to the cold. Moreover, Consort Hua recently ordered that my lady, being ill, should not go out. If she hears about this, it could lead to serious trouble." I smiled. "Why blame yourself? It's quiet in the middle of the night, and the concubines are attending the banquet. I'm dressed warmly in this outfit, which is inconspicuous in the snow. Besides, after being ill for so long, a walk outside would do me good." Before Xiao Yunzi could protest further, I stepped outside, turned back with a smile, and said, "I'm going alone. No one is to follow me. If anyone dares to stop me, I'll have them stand guard in the snow all night." As I left Tongli Palace, Jin Shi and Lu Zhu hurried after me, paying their respects and saying, "We wouldn't dare to persuade you further, my lady. But please take a lantern to light your way through the snowy path." I took it from their hands. It was a small, lightweight, and bright ram's horn lantern, unfazed by wind or snow. I smiled. "You two are thoughtful." Lu Zhu then placed a small hand warmer in my arms. "Please use this to keep warm, miss." I joked. "With all these encumbrances, why not bring the bedding as well?" Lu Zhu's cheeks reddened slightly, but she retorted, "Miss seems to find more and more fault with me. At this rate, Lu Zhu will turn into tears." I laughed. "You're just making things up now. You're getting too unruly, forgetting your manners." Lu Zhu replied with a smile, "What do I care about manners? All I'm concerned about is your well-being, miss." Jin Shi also laughed. I said, "Take it back. I'll be back soon and I won't freeze." With that, I turned and left. The snow on the long streets and alleys of the palace had been cleared by the palace staff, but the ground was icy and slippery, requiring caution while walking. The night was cold and deep, and the concubines were all at the main hall enjoying the feast with the emperor and empress. The palace maids and eunuchs stayed in their respective palaces to avoid the cold. The occasional patrolling imperial guards and eunuchs were less vigilant than usual, making it easy to avoid them. The journey to Imei Garden was somewhat long, but fortunately, the night wind was not strong. Despite the chill, my thick clothing was sufficient to withstand the cold. It took about half an hour to arrive. Even before entering the garden, a faint fragrance wafted towards me, elusive yet enticing, drawing me closer. The closer I got, the more refreshing and invigorating the scent became. The snow in Imei Garden had not been cleared, and the recent cessation of snowfall meant it wasn't fully frozen yet. My embroidered lambskin boots made a soft crunching sound on the snow. The garden was silent except for the sound of my footsteps on the snow. The garden was filled with blooming red plums, wild and unbridled, glowing under the clear starlight like clouds at dawn, so vivid it seemed they might ignite. The petals, dotted with snow, were crystal clear, setting off the yellow pistils and ruby-red blossoms, complementing each other and adding to their elegant beauty. It was hard to tell whether the snow enhanced the beauty of the plums or the plums held up the snow, creating a scene straight out of a fairy tale. Sparse shadows cast by the horizontal sun over shallow waters, with the faint fragrance wafting in the dusk. I couldn't help but take a few steps closer, the crisp plum scent seeming to purify my very marrow into icy clarity. Delighted, I chose a branch with the most blossoms to hang the likeness. I didn't mind the snow on the ground and set down the lantern to kneel sincerely, praying silently in my heart. First, I wish for the health and safety of my parents and siblings. Second, to live a peaceful life in the palace and end my days here. The thought saddens me, wanting to stay out of palace intrigues and preserve myself, resigning to a life of illness buried in the depths of the palace, becoming an old palace made with no stories to tell about Emperor Xuanzong. The third wish, for a true companion to stay by my side until the end, seems like a foolish dream, forever out of reach. Realizing this, despite knowing I'm destined to spend my life in the palace, I couldn't help feeling an indescribable sorrow, sighing. If only adversity understood my intentions, it would not be so harsh. As I finished speaking, a deep male voice suddenly asked from behind the trees, "Who's there?" I was startled. There was someone else in the garden, and a man at that. I immediately fell silent, blew out the lantern, and hid behind a plum tree. The man paused, then asked again, "Who is it?" All was silent around us, with only the sound of snow falling from the branches. I wrapped myself tightly in my cloak. The starlight was faint, and the snow-covered ground blurred the shadows of the trees, making it difficult to spot me among the intricate coral-like branches. Holding my breath, I carefully stepped, trying to move away without making a sound on the snow. The man's footsteps gradually approached, and through the plum trees, I glimpsed stone-blue boots with an intricate dragon pattern. Pausing a few bushes away, then silence. His tone was stern. "If you don't speak up, I'll have this entire Imei garden turned upside down." I stood still, my hands clenched, feeling the chill seizing my body. Through the floral shadows, I saw a hint of silver gray at the hem of his garment not far from me, with a faint dragon pattern, which alarmed me further. Suddenly, I saw a flash of green, typical of a palace maid's dress, behind the garden's small gate. Seizing the moment, I said, "I am a palace maid from Imei Garden, out here to pray for blessings. I didn't mean to disturb your excellency. Please forgive me." He asked further, "Can you read? What is your name?" My heart raced with fear, but I composed myself and replied, "My humble name is not worthy of your esteemed ears." Hearing his steps draw nearer, I hurriedly said, "Don't come closer, my shoes and socks are wet, and I'm changing them." He halted, and after a long silence, his footsteps receded, leaving no trace behind. Once I was sure he was gone, my heart still pounding as if it would burst, I quickly picked up the lantern and fled through the darkness, as if chased by shadows, hurrying back to Tongli Palace along the icy paths and through the long alleys. Upon seeing me return in disarray, with my hairpin loose and hair in dishevel, Jinshi, Huan Bai, and the others were startled and asked in unison, "What happened to you, my lady?" Huan Bai swiftly served me tea, which I drank in one gulp, catching my breath before explaining. "There were 2 cats hiding by the snow pile in Yong Lane. I don't know whose they are, but they suddenly jumped on me, truly frightening." Lu Zhu said with a smile, "The lady has been afraid of cats since she was young. Encountering 2 at once must have been quite a scare." She then called out, "Pear, brew a strong ginger tea to dispel the chill and calm the lady's nerves." Pear quickly agreed and went to prepare it. Jinshi commented, "It's common for ladies in the palace to keep cats, and those animals can be quite wild. You must be careful, my lady, given your esteemed status." She then inquired, "Did you make your wishes?" I nodded. "I made 3. But I wonder if the gods will think me greedy." Jinshi performed a deep bow with a beaming smile. "Congratulations, my lady. It's often said that cats bring good fortune. Encountering 2 cats right after making your wishes is surely an auspicious sign that they will come true." I smiled faintly. "Everything turns into something positive with you all. If my wishes are fulfilled, being scared for a moment is a small price to pay." I asked Jingqing to bring water so I could freshen up and redo my hair and changed into fresh clothes before sitting down to play mahjong. As I settled down, doubts crept into my mind. There were no external officials invited to the palace banquet that night, and no other men besides the emperor could enter the inner palace. The memory of the stone blue boots with the dragon pattern and the silver gray garment with the dense dragon pattern flashed in my mind, startling me. The dense dragon pattern is exclusive to the highest ranks, not even casually worn by princes. Could it be that the man in Ime Garden? Fortunate I escaped quickly, or my cautious efforts since entering the palace would have been in vain. Seeing me a bit distracted, Jin Shi and Xiao Yunzi tactfully let me win a few rounds to cheer me up. Claiming to feel a bit unwell, I retired to my room early, and Jin Shi followed to help me with my makeup. As I casually inquired, "Were there any guests invited to the inner palace banquet tonight?" Jin Shi replied, "As usual, a few princes also attended." I hummed softly in acknowledgement. The princes Jin Shi referred to were the eldest son of the late emperor, Qi Shan Wang Xian Sun, the third son Runan Wang Xianji, the sixth son Qing He Wang Xianqing, and the ninth son Pingyang Wang Xianfun. The late emperor had 7 sons and 2 daughters, with the 5th, 7th sons and 8th daughter passing away early. The current emperor Xianling was the 4th son with his sister, the princess Zhanning, both born to the current empress dowager. Qi Shan Wang Xiansun, born to consort Yi, now the honored consort Qin Ran, was the eldest but known for his mediocre and timid character, content with living a life of luxury as a prince without any significant accomplishments. Runan Wang Xianji, born to Lady Yui, sister of the Marquis of Bowling, fell out of favor after the Marquis rebellion during the Longqing era, leading to her depression and eventual death. Xianji, known for his extraordinary strength and bravery in battle, had a straightforward personality, which the late emperor didn't favor. Only after the late emperor's death did he receive the title of Runan Wang, and has since made significant military contributions, earning Emperor Xianling's trust. Qing He Wang Xianqing, intelligent and quick-witted, was especially favored by the emperor due to his mother, consort Shu's, influence. There were intentions to make him the crown prince, but opposition due to consort Shu's controversial background led to these plans being abandoned. After the late emperor's death, consort Shu chose to become a nun, and Xianqing was raised by Lin Fei, now the empress dowager, and grew very close to Emperor Xianling, known as the carefree prince. Xianqing was indifferent to politics, preferring to spend his days with poetry, music, and his exceptional flute playing. Pingyang Wang Xianfun, the youngest son of the late emperor, was only 13 years old. His mother, Consort An, came from a humble background as a seamstress in the embroidery department. After the late emperor's death, she was promoted to consort Shunchan, but Pingyang Wang was raised by the mother of the 5th prince, consort Zhuang He. As I listened, a sense of unease lingered in my mind, leading me to retire to bed early while the others dispersed. Tossing and turning in my sleep, I suddenly sat up in the middle of the night, the motion stirring the curtains of my bed. A troubling thought had occurred to me, the likeness I had hung in the garden, the source of my unrest.
Follow us to avoid getting lost and enjoy endless exciting stories. For more content, please go to the Story Wall homepage to view more exciting novels.